Tonight is the night that we come together and give praise to our beloved Orishas. We give thanks of our courage and strength to be open about our faith, our struggles, and those of our ancestors. For years, we were forced to worship in the shadows. But tonight, these Orishas give us the divine power to fight back. Tonight, we will experience emancipation and absolute freedom.
This baptism will revoke any evil inside you. Trust me. As long as you serve this God, the only God, you'll be fine.
Jadoki told me that Yemaja has been visiting you in your dreams frequently.
No, it was a long time ago. But you shouldn't force me to go to church. I'm 18 now.
But you're still a child. And I'll be damned if I allow you to bring that condomble shit into my house.
Mom, I'm just trying to find myself.
So go. Find yourself.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water.
We're back with Yvonne Secreto. So Yvonne, I'm really fascinated by this whole male-female dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that we have it within us, each of us has it.
Right.
And we left off where you were talking about when two people have a male dominance.
Right.
And how do you do that?
A relationship like that where there's male energy in both, predominant in both people, it shows up like no one is listening to their intuition.
Let me re-ask that question.
Okay.
Because my microphone was out. Right?
Okay.
Sorry about this. But what I was saying is that where we left off, we were talking about the male-female dynamic.
Right.
And how important it is to recognize which one is dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the case where both parties,
right,
the male and the female, physical male and female,
right,
have dominant male,
right,
there's conflict. How do you
always
deal with that? How do you
a couple that is manifesting a dual dominant male energy, they're not listening to their intuition. Neither one of them. Okay?
This thing works.
Yeah, so they're being very impulsive, they're just acting, getting things done, but not intuitively.
In the chat room, G asked, if the woman then becomes a kingmaker, does that mean a relationship that might be in flux can be repaired? At least that's what I'm getting from what you said.
Absolutely, the relationship can be repaired. As a matter of fact, there is a 5-step repair process that I can take you through right now.
Let's do it.
So, when you have a very difficult relationship that you're dealing with, the first thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what am I learning from this relationship? How is this person my teacher? And even more important, how do they mirror me? Because I believe in something called the mirror principle. That's from Arnold Patton. You can have it all. And the mirror principle says that people are in your life reflecting who you are back to you. So let's say the person is impatient. There's something about you that's impatient. There's some impatience in you. Whatever they're doing, there is a reflection of it inside of you. So the first step is to find that thing. So you ask yourself, what is it that drives me crazy about so-and-so? And when you come to that conclusion, then you ask yourself, is there anywhere in my life where I'm being abusive, impatient, intolerant, whatever the quality is that the person is showing you? When you find that simpatico, that sympathy, that way of being that you're mirroring, I call it the magnet. You can't have that person in your life unless you have that magnetic pole that connects you to them. So you find the magnet and you say to yourself, okay, I recognize that that doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve me, it didn't serve them. I'm ready to let it go. Before you let it go, you do step 2, which is to forgive yourself. So you forgive yourself. If you can, you forgive the person. And you thank them for the learning. Because if they didn't show it to you, it wouldn't come to your attention. And you wouldn't have known all along that you needed to take a look at that.
So relationships are important.
They're important and repairable.
Unrepairable.
So you go through, you find the magnet, you ask for forgiveness, and then number 3 is you make a declaration. Now that declaration is not to yourself or the person, it's to your higher self. And it's to the person's higher self. So you say, from my higher self to XYZ's higher self, I now release this learning. I no longer need to experience abuse, whatever, mistrust, whatever it is the person is teaching you. And then once you make that declaration, but you're doing it in the highest realm. So you release it. And then steps 4 and 5 are pretty simple. They're a lot of fun. And I call it affirmation visualization. So now you see yourself in the future operating without that in your life. Whatever that energy is out of your life now. So you're going to see it, and then you're going to make an affirmation that anchors it to you. So you make the affirmation, you visualize your life without mistrust, without dishonesty, without whatever it is that person is bringing to you as your mirror. And once you have made that affirmation, that visualization you affirm. And the affirmation can be simple, something like, I now operate in total honesty, or, just very basic. But you can ask yourself, oh, I think he's not being honest with me. Well, what are you not being honest about? Okay?
So it always goes back to the self.
It always goes back to the self.
Don't judge. Don't
judge.
Point the finger.
Because he's your mirror. She's your mirror.
So you ask, what is this person? How is this person my teacher?
Yes.
How is this person my mirror?
Yes.
And you look for the magnets.
Right.
Right?
You look for that magnet. Right.
And then third, it's the
second is the forgiveness.
Second is the forgiveness.
Right. Because then you see I don't need this anymore. And then you
then you speak to the soul.
Right.
Right. The higher self.
Right. And you declare that it's over.
You declare
Lesson's over.
I don't need this anymore.
I don't need this anymore. Got it.
So keep showing up.
Keep showing up.
As long as you have it within you.
As long as you have that magnet.
Every time you point a finger and say, look, I don't like the way you leave this glass, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. It's in you.
It's in you. And then you break up with that person and you meet somebody else who does the same thing.
Jesus is amazing. No, it's really fascinating when you get to a place in life when you realize it is you.
It is you.
All right? It is you. And you reflect on some of the teachings in the scripture, you think, well, wait a minute. This makes a lot of sense, but it takes a lot of strength and courage to accept.
And honesty.
And exactly. You know, I really believe that if you can accept and acknowledge that it is not the devil's fault, it's yours.
Exactly.
Somehow the universe just opens up to you. Like, okay,
And
now
then
you're ready.
exactly,
You're
and
ready.
then you can be merciful
Yes.
by God and forgive
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. But the minute you
This is
keep
very
saying it's not
simple.
me, it's the devil, and you know,
You're,
you see what the
you're
devil
just keeping the
did,
magnet.
you keep in the magnet. Oh, this is powerful. Okay. So in relationships, so trust is very critical.
Trust is critical because, again, you're intuiting, okay, what is it that I'm not being honest about? That's going to come from your intuition. You're going to hear, you know, you said this, but you're doing that.
What happens, or what have been some of your experiences with some folks when some clients when you broach the subject and you said, look, let's start with you.
Yeah.
And they came in hell-bent on showing you how it's the other person's fault. But when you show it to them, what happens sometimes when that reality hits?
Well, I'll tell you something. This is a secret. The question is the answer.
I know that.
The question is the answer. So it's the way I ask them the question that gives them reason to pause. So I say to them, now where in your life is this happening? He's been lying to you. Where have you been lying to yourself? And then they say, yes, about my job, about this, about whatever. You know, so the way they receive the question literally brings up the answer. It gives them that hit.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so it's always inside of you.
You know, wow, this is amazing. Do you have any example of you don't have to call me some, but example of a client that was tough? It was tough for them to get that concept, but then they eventually get it.
I have one of my most fascinating clients is a client who is a kingmaker, and she has really uplifted the men in her past, and she was afraid to continue to uplift. But she's also a VIP big wig boss on her job, you know. And so it was fascinating for us to work with the nuances of switching the roles to the nurturer and the king builder at home and being the boss at work. And so I did a lot of work with her, but what I found out, what we realized in the sessions is that she was afraid. I think everything that I've done with fear is at the center of it. It's at the root of it. So she was afraid, and we did a lot of work together, and she was able to admit that she wasn't like letting the nurturer come out. You know, she was just afraid to nurture. No, she thought she didn't know how to nurture. And in fact, she did, you know. And so I had to show her and remind her, look at this home. You've nurtured this home. You know, it's warm, it's inviting, you have plants in here. All of those things are nurturing things. So she didn't see herself as a nurturer at home. And she saw herself, you know, she kind of brought that boss energy home. And it was just a lot of conflict. So, you know, we did a lot of work. It was over a period of a long time, and now they're working together. And I mean, I don't want to give out like too many specifics, but I will say that when she got the intuition piece and the nurturing piece, she embraced it. But before, she would say to herself, I'm not very intuitive. I'm not very nurturing, you know. And then afterwards, and he was very nurturing. The guy, he's very nurturing, but he also takes right action, you know. So they really wanted to work it out and work together, and so they have. But I gave them those parameters to work with.
I guess patience is
Key.
Is key in this particular field of work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you do when you're bothered by something and can't see beyond it? What do you personally do?
Well, one of the things I do when I'm having conflict in a relationship is I actually speak to the person's higher self. And I really say to them, like, why are we stuck? Where are we stuck? What do we need to do to get past this? So again, that's in the beginning of the conversation I said I don't always stay in the third dimension.
Right.
So that soul, that spirit of the person is in a higher dimension, and I usually connect with that part of them. And I say, what can we do to get beyond this conflict?
How do you know when it works?
Well, it usually shows itself. There's usually a compromise in that you're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Right.
You're not throwing away the whole relationship. You're just throwing away whatever is not working in that relationship. So you know when the conflict is resolved.
At what point in this career path did you realize this is what I really want to do? I got something. I have a gift here. And I'm good at this. This is what I want to do.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been many amazing moments in the sessions. If you want a specific detail, I can give you. I had an amazing experience when I was regressing a young lady, and when we go back into the memories, I say, well, how old do you think that you are? And she gave me 2 ages. She gave me 7 and 14. And now normally I would have said no, one or the other, but I just felt like I needed to accept both ages. So I said, okay, and I kept asking her a lot of questions. At the end of the session, we realized that at 7, she wished her mother were dead, and at 14, her mother died. Now, those 2 ages were very key, and she has always since then referred to herself as an orphan, motherless, when in fact she blamed herself unconsciously for her mother's death. So that came up in the session, and it fascinated me as I stood outside of the experience to see how we veered from the norm by going with 2 ages instead of 1. But they were both significant, and I was just amazed at how the work unfolded. So it's just really amazing. I tell my clients all the time, I say, I don't need to go to the movies because their stories are so fascinating and incredible.
What made you decide to accept both ages? Was that intuition?
It was intuition. I just felt intuitively when we do this kind of work, when I do this kind of work, I really try to turn it over. Just turn and take myself out of it. I usually am. I think so. And when I do, it works out perfect.
Was there been a time when you haven't been obedient, you didn't listen to your intuition? What was that like?
Well, there have been a few, but it kind of blocked, it stopped the session, and it blocked the energy. There are other times when, and again, this is rare. That happened one time. And there was just one time where I had to ask the lady to leave.
To leave?
Yeah.
Why?
Give her money back.
Too much problems.
Well, her mother came with her to the session.
Oh.
But not physically.
Oh. Okay.
So she was just like controlling her, and it was just too much. I had an interesting experience with that in another way. Sometimes when we do Reiki and we move love energy through people, we see what's called a thought form. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but a thought form is an idea that someone holds so strongly it actually becomes a part of them. So sometimes when that love energy goes into the person, you can actually see, it's like a faint shadow of the thought form coming like out of or away from the person. So this lady, I said to her, I see a thought form, I see an image, and I described a woman with her hair pulled back in a bun, and I described the person, and she said, "Oh, that's my mother." So that's how much control her mother had over her, where she was actually practically living inside of her.
Have you ever felt like quitting?
Never. Why would I do that? Yeah. So that was interesting.
So, for those days when you're tired or you don't feel like getting up and doing what you do, who or what gets you out of that mindset?
When I go into the sessions, I really come in like an empty vessel. So tiredness, and I think it's just seeing the results over the years. So any emotion that I have does not come into the session with me. It's just me as a vessel.
Any advice to someone struggling with their spirituality?
Well, you find the right mentor there. Like they said, when the teacher is ready, the student is ready, the teacher appears. So finding the right mentor is very important. And I've been very blessed. Kamal Kokai is one of my mentors now. Dr. Kokai, we've worked together for many years. Melanie Chong is another mentor and my Reiki teacher. And so I think you need to find a good mentor who can really be that reflection for you, be that mirror for you, and help you to really tweak whatever you're doing. Yeah.
I like that.
And that's where I would start.
Do you, or how do you incorporate Reiki in your daily life?
Reiki is in everything. I Reiki my food. It's just really intending love energy over everything. You can Reiki a room. Just in the corners of the room, you intend those love symbols, just everywhere on my body,
Well, what would you say has been the greatest reward of incorporating Reiki in your daily life?
I realize that when I move into a space, or I go in, or my home even, you can actually feel the vibratory lift, the energy lift. I am replenished when I go home. I literally fill myself up when I go home.
What vibe hit you?
I felt good in here. The energy's great. The colors are beautiful. So it's a wonderful thing.
Thank you. I want to go to the chat room first. Jean
Okay.
asked, have you ever been fearful for your own well-being during a session? Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good session. And when I train people in Reiki, I actually teach Reiki classes, and I say to my Reiki students that because you're transmitting love energy and the love energy is moving through you, you're not receiving other people's energies, okay? Love is the highest vibrating frequency, okay? So if you have a lower vibrating energy and a higher vibrating energy, it's like electricity. Is the higher vibratory voltage going to give way to the lower? No. The lower give way to the higher. If it's dark, the light lightens up the room.
Yeah.
Darkness can't quench the light, So that love energy is your protection against anything that can come to you. Anything.
I truly believe in that.
Yeah.
I truly believe in that.
But that's a great question.
Let's take a break.
Okay.